Hi paper crafters, I'm Collette. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas, and this is exactly the paper range that I'm using today to create this really cute little Christmas card. And what I really want to show you is how I've made this beautiful little dimensional Christmas tree, which looks really cute and adds a lovely fun pop-up element to your card. This lovely range from Ultimate Crafts is really Christmassy, and you can see that in this particular paper pad, which is where I've used my papers from, you're going to get 32 gorgeous sheets of patterned paper which looks so Christmassy. And remember that on each sheet you're going to get enough backgrounds for 6 cards. So I think Christmas is set and done with this paper pad. What do you reckon? So let's get started on today's card. So I'm actually using for my card base this pack of cards and envelopes. There's 50 in a pack, so they work out really cost effective, and I'm just going to use one of these A6 cards. Now, as always, these are scored, and what we need to remember is that when we're folding, we want to fold with the raised or the beaded edge on the inside. And of course, using our bond folder just to make sure we've got a really nice crease. Now, I've taken some paper from that paper pad, and this is a little bit I had left over, so I'm going to use this to create my card base. So I need to cover this here. So all I do is I decide which side of this I want to use, and I think I'm going to make this side here the feature. So I'm simply going to pop this down on the card and pencil mark. I find making pencil marks much easier than working out measurements. So I've made 2 little pencil marks. You can barely see them on here, but those pencil marks will tell me where to cut. There we go. And cutting it. So that's my little bit cut, and you'll see that that fits beautifully on the card exactly as I want it to go. Now the next thing I want to do is I want to create this rolled corner feature, which is something I feature on a lot of my cards, and I also want to distress the edges. So I have a little distressing tool here. There's lots of different distressing tools out there on the market, and you simply get in there and roll it up. Don't be afraid of it. Don't worry if you accidentally tear it. After all, it is being distressed. Go back and forwards, just giving it a good old tear. And if you don't happen to have a distressing tool, what you can do is you can grab your scissors, open those up, and just go along the edges like this, and you'll get a beautiful distress look too. Okay, so those are those edges. You can see them now all kind of knurly. Just gives it a lovely feature. So our corner elements, what I do is I like to grab a really thin meat skewer, pop that into the corner and roll that. So that would be great. So that's all nicely rolled. And then I need to create something to go on the back of it. So I'm just going to, will that be enough? Let me see. Yep, that would just be enough. That's a bit of scrap that I just put off, but I want a bit of a contrast, so I'm going to use the back of that. And that's the nice thing about this paper pad. Each of those papers has a different design on the back. So I'm just going to chop that off about here, so it's just below where that corner folds. You can see there. Okay. And then I'm just going to apply that by putting a bead of adhesive along the edge. Beautiful. So that's my corner nicely in place. So now we need to attach this to the card. So that's my card base in position. So now let's turn our attention to this gorgeous little Christmas tree. So what I've done is I have used a die, and it's a really nice die, and it's part of that It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas range, and it's actually called it's called Build a Tree Layering Die, and there's 3 pieces to it. Now the lovely thing about these dies is that they do cut really, really well. Really, probably one of the best dies in terms of cutting. I think they're really good, whether it's glitter or chipboard, etc. I've had really great successes with these. So there's the 3 elements, and what I've done is I've gone ahead and for this card I've cut out some paper from that range. You can see here I've gone ahead and just pre-cut these lovely little trees, and you can see that there's this gorgeous, I'm not sure if you can actually see that gorgeous little embossed detail around the edges. That's so pretty. So I used papers from the paper pad, and then I used this beautiful vintage matte gold, and it's a mirror card or mirror board, and it just cuts so beautifully, and I thought it would make a great change from using the glitter cardstock, which is what I've been using a lot of in my cards. So what I'm going to do now is layer up this lovely Christmas tree. So in my tiny little glue bottle I have got some glue. So I have cut out a few of these. I'm going to start with the ones at the bottom, and I'm simply going to put a little dab of glue down on here like that. Then I'm going to take the matte gold one and position that just slightly over. That's good. And then I'm going to do exactly the same. And I've got a 3rd big one, so I cut out extras on this one to make it even more layered. So I've got 3 of each size that I've cut, and I'm just going to simply layer those up one after the other. So now I'm taking the mid-size. Now of course you can make these trees as tall or as short and stubby as you like. Now I'm taking the gold, and taking another of the beautiful pattern paper, and I chose the pattern paper that had like a swirly text design on it, and that worked really well. And then finally we've got our little layers. Now you'll notice on this one here I went off the edge a little bit, but that's fine because I know that's going to be covered, and I chose green. There was a little bit of green as we moved up towards this scrap of paper that I was die cutting from, and I thought, ooh, that was going to look nice. And then the gold. So this is going to be a lovely tall Christmas tree. And then finally the last little green one. So that looks pretty good. So that's my layered Christmas tree. You can see how pretty that looks, and that's going to look very grand on the card. So what I'm now going to do is just make sure that these are all dry, which they are now already. Put my little cap on my applicator so it's ready for next time. I love these little bottles. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my pencil, and I'm just going to kind of simply curve this around the pencil. So kind of breaking those paper fibres a little bit, and this is what's going to help to give it that dimension. So just curving it. So you can see it's kind of got a nice shape to it. Now I need to make sure that shape stays like that, so I need to put some support behind it. And all I am going to do, if I reach over here, is I need to grab just a scrap of paper, and I'm just going to make sure that that scrap of paper is shorter than my tree. So I'm going to use this bit here, and I just need to, about an inch, just cut off about an inch. And then what I'm going to do is take my skewer, and I'm going to roll this around that skewer. Now sometimes if you find it tough to do that, what you can do is just go ahead and break the fibres of this, and I do that. Now we're off video here, but what I'm doing is I'm just breaking it or rolling it against the edge of the table. So this is the edge of the table, I've just forced it like this, so those fibres are kind of broken now and ready to be turned. So that's better. Okay, so I'm just now going to roll these just like that. Alright, so that's a little tube, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to just add a little bit of double-sided tape down that edge. I always tear my tape. Very easy to tear the tape. Saves hunting for the scissors, which I always seem to hunt for. Peeling that off. And there we go, all rolled up, ready to support that lovely tree. Okay, so what I'm now going to do is I'm going to put some more of my glue just down the spine of the tree and just down here. Now, one of the things you can do, being Christmas time, you could give this a beautiful Christmassy scent, and instead of popping a paper roll down here, what you could do is you could pop a roll of cinnamon, and that would be really nice. Okay, so that's already adhered, so now we're ready to stick this down onto our beautiful card. So more adhesive, and then that's going to sit down on the card, and I'm going to have it over this side here, over the side with the, so I'm just going to hold that down for a few seconds. This is a really pretty tree actually. I love all the little mistletoe. You can have fun actually getting that all sorted out here. Okay, that looks good. And of course what we need is a little star. So you can see here my little star, and I think this little star is just adorable. How often do we look for a small star like that for our cards? This actually came from the Away in a Manger die set, and again it's a really inexpensive die set. All of these dies from Ultimate Crafts are really good prices, but this one, look after it because it's very tiny, but I bet you use that a lot this Christmas. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the bottom, and that's going to sit on top of my Christmas tree, as any beautiful star should do. Nice. Okay, so you can see the tree is looking really lovely on the card there. So the next step is to put our sentiment down, and this little Merry Christmas die is the die that you want to hunt out for this Christmas. It is absolutely gorgeous and it cuts beautifully. So that's the little die, beautiful flowy text, and I need to pop this down on my card. Now I've just realised where I put my Christmas tree, this die is not going to work. Well, actually it will, and I'll show you how. And just to show you, even with the glitter cardstock, it just cuts it out so beautiful. It's not an expensive die, so definitely put it on your shopping list. It's one you want to get. So what I actually use, because this is very intricate and flowy, I've used the die cut and bond, and all I have done is I've grabbed some of the mirror board, and I have basically just popped the die on like this, and got my scissors and done a rough cut of what I need. Got the die cut and bond, peel that back, stick that down just like that, and cut that off. So now that's already got adhesive on the back. So that's what I've done, and then I've gone ahead and I have die cut this out. So that's what's in here. Now, one of the things I love about these dies, they do cut beautifully, as I've said. You can use your ejection brush to give it a little brush all over and get the bits out from here. And you've also got all these lovely tiny little holes. See, this is already coming out with the ejection brush, that you can actually poke out. So you're not going to rip or tear any elements from this. So here is my beautiful Merry Christmas wording already cut out and ready to go on my card. But before I do that, I'm going to just glitz up my card a little bit. So out comes the old pizza box. And I'm simply going to give this a little shimmer spray. So any of the clear, shimmery white sprays that you have in your stash, just splits that all over, and it just gives it that Christmassy shimmer, which I'm not sure you can pick up here, but it's sparkling all over the place, and that's going to get even more sparkly as that dries. So the shimmering spritz is all finished, and you can see that's really pretty and shiny. So what I now need to do is just pop that sentiment on. Now, as I said, it doesn't quite fit where I had it in my original one, so I just need to cut this one apart. So I'm just chopping it there. So now I have Merry and Christmas separate, which is just going to be perfect for what I want. So I'm going to peel away the die cut and bond. Fantastic. And I am going to get my little tweezers so I can place this nicely. And I reckon I'm going to pop it underneath this little bit of the tree here. That'll be about right there. So Merry and Christmas, take away that die cut and bond. This does peel away really simply. Make sure all the bits are popped out. And then Christmas is just going to pop along underneath here on the bottom. Yeah, happy with that. So we've got Merry Christmas just happening there on the bottom. Now, one of the other things that would be nice to do would be to actually just kind of shape those little branches just a wincy bit. So grabbing your tweezers, just taking the branch and just kind of curling them up a bit. And this will give them a little bit of body and soul and life. Now if you spritz this with water, you'll find that these will become hard and kind of set in place. There we go. So he looks really nice and Christmassy. Oh, I'm getting so excited. Alright, so just moving that out a little bit. Finishing touches here, very straightforward. All I'm now going to do is add a little bit of bling to my beautiful mistletoe. We can't have enough bling at Christmas. Now these are the Couture Creations gemstones and pearls, and what I really love about these is that they are 2mm, so they're tiny and they're just perfect for what I want. I love just to keep them on a little ring like this, but I'm going to use these red ones. Of course, it's Christmas. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to pick them up with my tweezers and I'm going to pop them on the little dots that are there on the mistletoe. So I'm going to go ahead and do all of that, and I'll be back to you shortly. So there's my card, all finished, looking gorgeous, all those lovely little gemstones in place, lots of dimensional and pop. So sweet little card, really doesn't take long to do, and this is the one that I did before, so we have two of them. Now you'll notice that one tree is a little bit taller and the other one is smaller. So with this one I cut 2 of each die, this one I cut 3 of each die, and the little guy, you can see I poked in a small tree trunk and I made that dimensional too. Simply cutting off some of that beautiful mirror board, 1 inch thick, rolling it on a pencil to get that curve, putting glue on the edges and then poking it under the tree. Now don't forget, at the end of making your card, take a second to look around your table and look at your scraps. So what I did with my scraps is I just decorated the inside, a simple quick border, and this was a beautiful little angel from that set, Away in a Manger, and I thought I had to use her, she was cute. And this little stamp is again from the stamp set that has come out with this collection, and it's really good because it's full of lovely Christmas sentiments, just what you need for your cards. So that's my card for today. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you get to make some of these yourself. They're so much fun, it's super easy, and dies that you know you're going to be using lots and lots of. Now, just one little thing, just remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I have got something big, really big, happening in October just for you guys, which I think you are going to love. So keep your eyes and ears out, subscribe so you don't miss what's happening, and it's going to really give you lots and lots of ideas and bits and pieces, but I'm not going to say any more just now. So keep an eye out for that. So don't forget, subscribe, and